Maddie Maloney. I am a former Division I tennis player, a yoga instructor, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 13. Type 1 diabetes is different for every person. Every body is so unique. The way everyone reacts, the age you're diagnosed, there are so many factors. But for me, yoga has been very beneficial and sustainable to help me manage my type 1. And all different types of yoga have really helped me get more in tune with my body, figure out, what types of foods work for me, what types of meditation works for me. I started practicing yoga about 2 years ago. I fell in love after my first class. Ever since starting Yoga Sculpt, I actually have now practiced many types of yoga, everything from Bikram to Vinyasa to Hatha yoga. I needed something that was sustainable and something I could do every day by myself. I didn't need someone to practice with me. Yoga Sculpt, I think, is the best workout I found for diabetes management for me personally, because the HIIT workout provides long glycemic effects all day. But because you're so mindful and starting out with breathing, it's very meditative. And for me, it kind of counteracts the adrenaline that I sometimes get when I play tennis. They cause my blood sugars to spike. I've always been a firm believer in a meditative state before you compete in any competition. It gets your mind in the right space and your blood pressure under control. So that is something I have always practiced. One of my favorite things about practicing yoga is the fact that for that hour, I'm so present, and it gives me the power that when I leave my mat to take that presence away and not be stressed about where my blood sugars are going to be in 5 hours or what happened this morning, and just really be mindful of my management in that moment, and it's helped my mental health a lot. Depending on the type of yoga you practice and your body specifically, everyone will have a different reaction, but my experience has been, even if I do have a spike of adrenaline during practicing and my blood sugar goes up a bit, because I end every class in a Shavasana pose, which is a very meditative state, I have increased benefits throughout the day. When playing college tennis, I realized my freshman year that if I was going to compete at a Division I level, diabetes couldn't be a factor. The main thing that meant for me was controlling my emotions. If I get upset, if I get happy, overly excited for whatever reason, if I break or lose a tough game, that can cause an impact in my blood sugar levels. In college though, because I focused so much on my mental health and keeping my emotions in check, it became much less of an issue for me. There were still times that I would get obviously too upset, too excited, and I would see a quick spike in my blood sugar levels. I found meditation to be very beneficial to prevent pre-match spikes. If I can get in the right mindset, I find that my blood sugar is much more friendly to me in the beginning and throughout my match. And it gets your mind in the right space and your blood pressure under control. So that is something I have always practiced. Tennis is an intermittent sport, so the impacts on my blood glucose can be both raising it and lowering it, depending on a lot of other factors. For matches, a lot of times they're early in the morning, and due to waking up and the adrenaline, I would spike. So every day is a new challenge with tennis, and I tell people that if I could beat my diabetes on the court, I was fine. I didn't care about my opponent. I didn't focus as much on winning in college, but as much as improving every single match. And I feel that I bring the same mindset into my diabetes care. Every day may not be perfect, but I don't want to make the same mistakes tomorrow that I made today. Type 1 diabetes gets hard, and there are days that you don't want to get up, you don't want to go run, you don't want to go practice. But my inspiration is honestly the other type 1 athletes that I see doing such a fantastic job and showing up every day and being vulnerable and putting themselves out there. Eric Tozer, Sophie Shunk, a lot of my other type 1 diabetic friends, both high-level athletes and non, the little kids with type 1 that wear their pumps around and play soccer and do everything that they can. When I was diagnosed, I didn't really have anyone to talk to about type 1 at age 13, and I hope that I can be that person that people can turn to.